guaranteed other people in the world are too. We live in such a big place that no matter what you're interested in, someone else is interested in it too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's just a matter of trucking along and finding that group of people that has that same passion. So I feel like there's no failure in doing what you love, because guaranteed there's other people out there with that same passion that will support you. Mm-hmm. So, I think people think that it's going to be an overnight thing, right? I thought that too. I thought that when I was building my first business that it was just going to be overnight success. And it wasn't. It's every month is trial and error. Every month is looking at things, trying to figure out what works, what didn't. And so it's super interesting. But I think there's no failure. Even when I have a bad month here, I'm not mad at what I do. Like I wake up every day and I come to a gym and train, So how mad can I be? I'm not that upset.
Would you say it's still a lot of work though?
So much more than I ever imagined. I think that's where I think people get confused, because I think some people say, is that me or no? Yeah, okay. I think some people say that if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life, which I completely disagree with. I think that if you do what you love, you work so much harder than anybody else does. And so I think that logic is backwards, because I work relentlessly on this gym and in areas that I had no idea that I was going to have to do. So like I said, I like to delegate a lot of the jobs out, but there's some that it's just not financially responsible to. So I don't have a janitor in here. So for 2 hours a day, every single day, I'm in here cleaning toilets, mopping mats, vacuuming the back. I don't love that. That's not, I do it, and I actually don't mind it because I love everything else. But there's so much work behind the scenes, phone calls, the back end work, even though I have people doing these certain things for me, I still have to communicate with them. We still have to be on the same page. So there's so much back end work that needs to be done. And then on top of constantly evolving as a coach, so I can't just come in and coach the same stuff every day. I've got to get better every day too. And so there's just so much work involved that I just had no idea. I think when I first started, I was like, yeah, I'll just come in and coach every day. Of all of it, I probably coach 10% of my day. Mm-hmm. Like the rest of it is setting up for that. So it's a lot. And I think in any occupation, it'd be the same way. Right.
Yeah. So, I've learned that the hard way, and I expected it was. I've been in enough industries to know that the facade is never reality.
Right.
There's like you said, it's an iceberg. 90% of it's under the water, mm-hmm. and you just have to figure out what that is. And it is a blast. This is honestly is my dream, to be able to sit down and talk to people and be able to potentially, hopefully, make a difference in the world and spread at least some bullshit, but most of it hopefully is good.
Right.
But this is really a small portion. This is an hour of us talking, and then, I don't know how many hours it's taken me to get to this point, because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Yeah. Just to edit this one setup is going to take, each time it's a little bit less and a little bit less, and that's what you have to look forward to, is investing in yourself to where eventually someday it's going to be what you dreamt it was.
Right. And I'm sure you don't hate it. Sure, it's not your favorite part, like setting up and breaking down and editing especially. Oh, editing. What a nightmare. But I'm sure that's not your favorite part, but I'm sure you don't hate it. You know what I mean?
Well, it's not whether you hate it or not. It's what else would you be doing if you weren't doing this? Yeah. And I have options, and I'm going to try this one out, and we're going to see where it takes us. But at the end of the day, I got a smile on my face. So sure. If I can say that, then I'm doing something right.
And you get to, I like the idea. You get to go around, you get to meet a bunch of different people. And I think that's cool to be able to get different people's perspectives on things, which it's like traveling, right? It only broadens our self by communicating with other people. That's one of the main reasons why I love traveling, is because you get a complete different perspective, which then in turn changes your perspective, which just makes you grow as a person. So that's pretty cool as well. And I don't think even Joe got as smart as he did by himself. I think that every guest he has on there broadens his horizon, which now has him at a level of, well, let's not talk about his level, but that's DMT.
Yeah. We've actually talked about DMT on my show. I have a good buddy that he had a very conservative upbringing, and after he was already an adult, I don't know what the first thing that pushed him into it is. He probably said on the show, but he tried, I think it was cannabis for the first time, and he's like, this stuff's great. Why has everyone told me it's terrible? And so he openly was talking about trying other psychedelics. And at the time, he hadn't tried it yet, but his goal was to check out some DMT. And I'm not saying that it's something I've done or something that I plan on doing in the near future, but it's something that I'd like to know more about.
Yeah.
I've seen too many parallels between near-death experiences and DMT trips. And whether you're a religious person, whether you believe in an afterlife, or whether once you check out at the end of your life, it's just blackness, regardless of what your base belief is, knowing more about that is going to be valuable, because we can talk about your gym, we can talk about my podcast, we can talk about crypto, but at the end of the day, it's life, right? And what is life and what's the point? And some people have it figured out, and good for them. And other people have no clue, myself included.
Same.
And I want to know. I'd love to know if there is an objective truth out there. What is it? I fully believe that not a single person on the face of the planet has ever known, but that's just my opinion, and I could be wrong.
Well, and do you think, but on that same token, do you think DMT has the answers? But
I don't,
or is it just a perspective thing, right? And so, sure, I'm sure they go into Neverland or wherever they go, and they have this epiphany and see things they never saw. But at the end of the day, it's still in their brain, right? And sure, it took a drug to get that out, but if it's in their brain, then it can't be. Maybe it can be. Can it be the answer? You know what I mean? Or is it their answer?
I believe there's no single answer. I'm going back to the silver bullet, right? I think all of us have had experiences in our lives that during, a million things going on in our head, there's one little flash of pure truth and genius, and we recognize it, and we're like, wow, that is true, right? But it's just a tiny little minuscule fraction of what the full painting is. And I don't think that any of us have the capacity to truly see all those flashes all at the same time, see the full picture. But I think through experiences, whether it's meditation, whether it's just having conversations with people, or pain and suffering a lot of the time brings it out, we can have these little flashes and glimpses of what that truth is. And it's slowly going to gravitate towards bringing us to what I feel is the purpose of life, and that's being happy.
Yeah.
Because if you're miserable, who cares if you're doing what you quote unquote should or should not be? If you're miserable, why live it? That's enjoy this life, and that's find things that are going to make it more enjoyable. So if you're at a job that you don't like, I'm not telling you to quit your job and go do something else. That's a terrible idea, because you need money to live. We currently live in a certain society that has rules, but you need to start figuring out what that passion is, and then. And you luckily knew what that passion was before you took that jump. And I think that's really what we need to look at. And for a lot of people, and I think the majority of people, when they truly look at their passion is their family and peace and sustainability. And it doesn't matter what job you're doing, because you live for the evenings and the weekends, and that's perfectly fine. In fact, that's the life I'm probably going to go back to, which the editing side of this is a whole other job in and of itself. But I'm going to, for myself, I'm going to stop focusing on what I'm supposed to do and not supposed to do, and start trying to just maximize a sustainable happiness, and for those around me as well.
Sure.
But that's just me getting on a fucking soapbox.
Oh, I like it. I mean, that's the plan. That's what we tell everyone anyway. It's not about the destination, it's about the journey, right?
Absolutely.
And it's always like, I got to remind myself that in the gym every day when I'm getting beat up. I love this.